Hey everybody, this is Blue, and I wanted to talk about building your world. Now, before you start anything, get yourself a bunch of notebooks, binders, and all that, and get organized. You can see behind me, I got some binders and all that right there. But let's go through some images here that I have of my gaming room. So right there is, you're going to see some of my binders at the bottom, composition books. These wonderful things right here. Um, if you're smart, you can go during, before they do the back to school specials, and you can buy these pretty darn cheap. What I ended up doing was I ordered 30 of them, I think at 80 cents each, from Walmart, had them delivered to me. And I have a few of them that are completely filled up. I have some that are halfway, and on that second shelf there, half of those are still empty. Um, I think these are the best way to write down a certain topic. I have these books that are used to write down cultures. So for like my halflings, I have a book just for them. My dwarves, a book just for them, and for all the other uh, species in my game. This is a great way to create your own races in your game because you know you can then write down the flavor you want to give them. All right, and this is something you need to drill into your head. Until it's written down, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. So, because there's always that time, oh, I've always liked this one idea. Well, until you get it on paper, it's just an idea, it's not a rule. So, get some of these for some of the more long, detailed things like cultures. Maybe you want to create your own unique magic system. Well, that would be ideal. But for me, one of my favorite things is my binders. Now, on the bottom shelf there, you can see that I got 3 binders, and then I got a couple smaller binders up on a higher shelf. Then everything on this side, that shelf, that's my various papers, clipboards. I got some storage containers that hold dice, counters. The very bottom box on that other shelf, I have a dry erase hex board for adventuring. So I like to be prepared, and so I keep buying stuff. Some days I swear that I have more office supplies than the business I work for. It is important that you plan ahead. Walmart loves me in back to school specials, so I have tins full of pens and pencils. If you are going to create your own maps, you do need to have colored pencils and markers and all that. Whole bunch of colors so I can cover borders, terrains, vegetation. And I got dry erase markers right in here. So when I actually do my role playing, I can have all the different colors needed so that I can build an awesome map for my adventures. And let's go get some other images. This is what you see right back there. I have, those are the 4 binders that I use the most. One of them is my spell index and personal spells. Rollmaster uses spell lists. Each spell list has 24 spells on it generally. And then a personal spell is an individual spell that I've made, created, thought up of. And so to keep them organized, I built the binder and I put everything in there. Again, since it's written down, it actually exists in my world. Then you got my house rules. Then I have my Urthena history and people because I'm trying to build an amazing world. Bad thing for me, I played MERP, Middle Earth role playing. And so I have adventured in Middle Earth and a lot. J.R. Tolkien did an amazing job on creating that world, the details, the cultures, and everything. It's hard to go from that to some, one shot. And so I am building a highly detailed alternative Earth. And then I have the very last binder, the white one. That's Urthena War Law. I am trying to collect all the charts of all the weapons and get them in one binder because Rollmaster has a lot of books. You saw that. And so sometimes you have to create these binders so that you don't have 10 books everywhere. If I keep my combat in one binder, it's going to take up less space. My map, right there. And as you can see, it's just 2 pieces of poster board and, magic marker. That's it. And I love it. You can get down to small details if you want to. Like I say, I'm trying to build a very complex world, alternative Earth. You could see like Saudi Arabia does not exist. There's a part of Africa that does not exist. There's more islands in Japan. They're larger as well. You can alter the geography and make a different history. And that's what will give your world more pizzazz. I kind of like building maps. It's fun to me. So what you're seeing here are 2 more maps that I've created. The first one, that is a map of South Dakota. That's the area it actually is in. In my world, halflings exist, and due to what I call multi-universal storms, sections of whole planets are teleported to a mirror or multiverse realm. And so through one of those, a large 100-mile area was teleported from the halfling's origin world to South Dakota, and the Black Hills is that area. And so in the Black Hills, I have halflings, hobbits. So it's kind of like the Shire, and it kind of would look like New Zealand, where they filmed, so much. And so I thought that would be the perfect flavor. The map next to it, that is Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, parts of Russia, Poland, Germany, and the Baltic states. This map will be used in campaigning because I have it set up. There is the Baltic League, which is, Sweden, Finland, the Baltic states. They have formed a confederation, and there are some sea lords that are hiring pirates to raid other areas, and that's how they're getting their extra money. And so I'm going to have a group go up and fight that. And so that's this very simple way to add some flavor to your game. And here are my other 2 maps. The top one with all the yellow, that is actually in what would be the middle of the Sahara Desert. In my world, that's all there is to the Sahara Desert. It's pretty small. And this is where my orcs live. On one side, they have a small sea that they get to use for fishing and that. And then they got a brutal desert on the other side of the mountains. One side of the mountains, there is very little moisture because these winds from the south dry everything out. And then there's all the moisture on the north side. And where the orcs can live very comfortably. The map below it, that is my map of the British Isles. As you can tell, I have merged Ireland with the UK, Scotland, and so it is to give it its own flavor and more land to have adventures in. This is where I'm going to have one group. I'm going to have a village that is going to be harassed by a petty warlord, and I'm going to have a group that tries to defend their village and the others in the area, and they're going to group together and see what happens. So I have created, like I said, my house rules. Get a binder, write down every little idea that you have. If there are things that you like in role-playing games, make sure you write them down. And if there are things you don't like, write them down too. I actually have a banned list. You see, in my game, time travel can only see glimpses into the future or past. There is no time travel allowed. No gunpowder weapons. I feel that gunpowder weapons, in particular cannons, would throw balance off in the game because I love castles. And if you have a good cannon and you can put some grape shot in there, it kind of takes away from my field the mages, because everybody wants a mage that can throw a good old fireball, right? Well, if you got a cannon, you can keep on firing a couple grape shots in an area, and then you don't have to worry about a weak mage. Next is no tech above Iron Age. While I'm having a multi-universe universe to go here, so you can travel from one universe to another through plane travel, going across the astral plane, there is nothing above the Iron Age. So there is no internal combustion engines, no computers, no firearms like that. It is basically like, year 200 of Earth. No fancy tech. No steampunk. I thought about having steampunk, and I don't like the idea of trains and all that in my world. And so, no steampunk whatsoever. No aircraft. I'm going to have some balloons and dirigibles so that you have some platforms for observation, travel, but no gliders going in there and shooting arrows at everybody. And then my final one that I got listed here is no UFOs. Again, I don't want any high tech coming through there and screwing up the game balance. Other ideas I've had in here, Rolemaster has a skill rank system. They love skills. You have to develop skills to be able to do things. And so I have that a person can only create 150 skill ranks for each skill, because there has to be a point where you can't learn anymore. For magic, because I will be using crystals and all that, because I like to have some fun. No substitutions in magic. I do, study into what we call modern witchcraft, and there are people that believe that you can use quartz for anything. Well, then so many other books, this stone can do this and that stone can do that. Well, I'm not going to go, well, I got my quartz, I can do anything type stuff. It's just personal call on that. I believe in reincarnation in my game, and so you can have past lives. And so there are spells for you to go check your past lives of your character. And so that would be another way to develop a awesome background for your PC if they have a hidden past life that they've lived. I talk a little bit about dreams and trances because, we love our shamans. Round structure. Because, we play, per round, and we got to do the roll for initiative and all that fun stuff. In a combat round, there's part 1. Everybody declares their actions for that phase. Step 2, you roll for initiative. Step 3, figure the order of movement and actions. Part 4, movement 1. Actions can be lost due to movement. PC can counter movement and lose declared actions because your target moved away and he's no longer within range for melee. There we go. 5, action 1, all magic is cast during this phase. And then part 6 is movement again. You got 2 movements, and then part 7 is your action. So you'll have 2 actions. So in each round you can attack and parry, or attack and attack, or parry. If you're a magician, you can cast 1 spell and then that's it. So that's just my design. That's a very vague description. I talk about blight magic. Now, that's one thing. You saw in my bookshelf, I have a whole bunch of books. Not all of those are Rolemaster books. I have other third-party create books in there, and I do look at them, and I will take a concept that I kind of like, and I liked blight magic. That's something that's really dark and all that could set off a boss, an evil boss, pretty good if they can do some blight magic in my eyes. I have zombie rules because everybody has some zombies, and there's so many different versions of zombies in movies. I decided to create what it is. Zombies are this and nothing more type of thing. I create my own charts. I love computers, and this is my resistance rule chart. So, you got what level you are and the level of attack, and you just do the cross-reference, find out what you got to roll, and roll it. Pretty easy stuff there. I got pages for my character development, their background skills, the point system to your experience points to go up, and levels, skill length values, your racial bonuses, and I got my lists of professions. I talk about the astral plane. I talk about a lot of things, but the thing I guess I'm wanting to show you most is that you can see I got a lot of dividers in here because I cover a lot of topics, and this is my way to keep things organized. If you're going to build yourself a gaming world, you need to have something to write down all your option rules. Even if you use what's that concept? There's an app called World Anvil. I mean, that might be a great thing. I refuse to use it because I like to have things on paper so that I can have them in front of me whenever I need them. I would hate to have to open up a tab for this, a tab for that. I don't like it. And also, the big advantage of these is that you can take them with you. You could take one of your composition books with you, and if you have an idea, write it down. Or, like maybe you're working on your Halfling culture book. You can write down ideas about your hobbits to add detail at any time you want to. You don't have to open up the computer, turn it on, go find the right page, write stuff down, because I bet you do that, you're going to forget half the stuff before you get it written down. So it's always better to have some pen and paper. I think pen and paper, because that's the old way, the old school way, is better for creating role-playing scenarios and settings and rules and all that fun stuff. Can it be expensive? Yes, it can be. There are some Rolemaster books that I have. The most expensive one I spent money on was the Good Spell Law one, and that was roughly $85. So some of these books I got in lots off of eBay, but for like my Rolemaster, I had to buy one at a time. And yeah, some of them are quite expensive. Alchemy Companion on eBay was $115, and I'm not going to spend that much money on it. But paper is better because you can get it out at any time, and you can write down an idea quickly, and then you got it on paper so that when you got some free time, you can look at it and go, oh yeah, and fill it out more. So that is something for everybody to think about. If you can only get online, I understand that. Maybe you don't have the space like I do to have a gaming room, because I'm a homeowner, and this room right here used to be my son's bedroom. And he's now 23, and so he's out of here. But so I have a room where I can have all my stuff in place, and I can have all my books open, and it's no problem. So hopefully I gave some people some ideas, and take care. Be at peace.